Hello, English learners. Welcome back to the Real English Podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily, and I am so excited for this episode.
And I'm Jack. And we have a really great lesson for our advanced listeners today.
We certainly do. Jack, have you ever been trapped by a rambling speaker?
Oh, that happens to me all the time. You know my friend Dave, right?
Yeah, I certainly do. He loves to talk for hours without stopping.
Exactly. He just jumps from one random story to another without any clear point.
So, what do you usually do in that kind of situation?
Honestly, I used to just nod and wait for him to finally finish speaking.
Right. It's so hard to interrupt someone politely. Have you tried changing the subject?
I have, but today we're going to teach you a much better way.
That's right. We'll learn how to step into a one-sided conversation and steer it back.
Yeah, you'll learn how to catch the main point and summarize it very quickly.
Why is this such an important skill for real life, Jack?
Well, it helps you keep business meetings on track without offending your coworkers.
Good point. It also saves you a lot of time in your daily social situations.
It really does. But it requires some rapid thinking and very precise words.
Speaking of precise words, let's check out a few in our vocabulary preview.
Distill. What does this mean in a conversation, Emily?
Well, think of making strong coffee. You boil it down to the best part.
Exactly. You find the core message in a really long story.
Right! When someone talks too much, you distill their main point.
Have you ever had to do that?
Oh, all the time. My uncle loves telling long stories at dinner.
Haha, I know the feeling. You just have to find the main idea.
Interject. This word sounds a little bit formal, right?
Yeah, it does. But it really just means to politely interrupt someone.
Right? You throw a quick comment into the middle of an active conversation.
Exactly. It's almost like smoothly jumping onto a moving train.
That's a great way to picture it, Jack.
But you want to do it carefully without causing a big crash.
Very true. You gently interject to keep things moving forward safely.
Tangent. I have to admit, I go on tangents all the time.
Yes, you certainly do. It means wandering completely off the main topic.
Hey, I'm not that bad. But yeah, it's a sudden change of subject.
Right? Like discussing a work project, and suddenly you're talking about pizza.
Well, I think pizza is a very important topic.
True, but a long tangent can make a conversation really confusing.
Exactly. We need to learn how to politely stop those rambling tangents.
Now that we know the vocabulary, let's move on to the dialogue.
Now that we know the vocabulary, let's move on to the dialogue.
So we ran a similar campaign a few years ago. We used mostly blue graphics.
Did that specific color scheme work well for the audience?
Yeah, it really did. My cousin actually designed the whole thing. He worked at this tiny agency.
That's an interesting detail. Did they handle all our ads?
No, just a few special projects. They loved using retro fonts back then. It was a cool style.
Sorry to interject here, Mark, but I want to pause you.
Oh, no problem at all. What are you thinking?
I just want to make sure we stay on our strict schedule.
Yeah, we only have about 10 minutes left in the meeting.
Exactly. So to distill what you're saying, past color trends really helped engagement. Is that right?
Yes, that's the main takeaway. We should definitely check those old metrics.
That's a really great idea. Let's assign that task to David.
I can pull those numbers for you by this afternoon.
Perfect. Now, before we go off on another tangent, let's review the new budget.
That sounds good to me. I'll pull up the spreadsheet right now.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's look at the language from our dialogue.
Right? We heard some great ways to handle a rambling speaker.
We really did. It happens to all of us, right?
Oh, definitely. I have a friend who talks for hours.
Yeah, me too. So how do we stop them politely?
Well, the first word we used was interject.
Ah, interject. That's a great word for advanced learners.
Exactly. It basically means to interrupt, but it sounds nicer.
Why does it sound nicer, do you think?
It feels more professional. You're just adding a quick comment.
Right? In the dialogue we heard, sorry to interject here.
That's such a useful phrase. Have you tried that one?
I use it in meetings all the time. It works perfectly.
It really softens the interruption. People don't get angry.
Good point. Okay, what's the next word we have?
The next word on our list today is distill.
Distill. I love this word. What does it actually mean?
It means to find the most important part of something.
Like making a strong perfume from lots of flowers?
Exactly like that. But here, we do it with words.
I see, you boil a long speech down to one idea.
Right? The phrase was, to distill what you're saying.
That's so helpful. It shows you're actually listening.
Yeah, it really does. You summarize their point for them.
Do people appreciate that? What do you think?
Mostly, yes. It helps everyone understand the main goal.
That makes sense. We have one more word to cover.
We sure do. The final word today is tangent.
Tangent. People go on tangents all the time, right?
Oh, constantly. A tangent is a completely different topic.
Right. Like starting to talk about your dog during a sales meeting.
Yes, exactly. You suddenly drift away from the main point.
And the phrase was, before we go off on another tangent.
That's a great way to pull the conversation back.
It really is. It gently reminds them to stay focused.
Have you ever used that phrase with your friends?
Sometimes, yeah, especially when we're trying to make plans.
It keeps things moving. These are such powerful advanced tools.
They really are. Now you can easily manage those rambling talkers. We just talked about dealing with very chatty people.
Yeah, those situations seem to happen all the time.
But how do we actually use this in real life?
That's a great question. We really need specific phrases.
Exactly. You don't want to sound rude when interrupting.
Right. You want to keep the conversation completely smooth.
Let's look at our first phrase for jumping in.
Okay, what's the best way to do that naturally?
I like to say, if I could just jump in.
Oh, I use that one constantly in my meetings.
It really softens the interruption quite a bit, right?
It does. You're politely asking for permission to speak.
Have you ever used it during a long presentation?
Sure, when someone is talking for 5 minutes straight.
I usually say, if I could just jump in here.
Yeah, or you can say, if I could just jump in with a quick thought.
It works like a charm every single time.
So, what's the next step after we interrupt someone?
Well, once you jump in, you should summarize their point.
Right, just to show you were actually listening to them.
So our second phrase is, what it boils down to is,
That's a perfect way to shorten a very long story.
yeah, it takes out all the confusing extra details.
Exactly. How would you use it in the office, Jack?
Let's say my coworker is complaining about a big project.
Right, giving you way too much unnecessary background information.
I would say, so what it boils down to is a budget issue.
I see. You find the core message really quickly.
You can also use it for making big decisions.
Yeah, like, what it boils down to is choosing between two options.
That's a great example. It keeps the meeting moving.
But what if they have completely left the main topic?
That brings us to our third phrase. Let's circle back to.
Oh, the classic redirect. I absolutely love this one.
It's so useful when someone goes totally off track.
Because you don't want to tell them they're wrong.
No, that would be a little bit too aggressive.
You just want to gently steer them back on course.
I might say, that's interesting, but let's circle back to the timeline.
Exactly. You validate them first, then change the direction.
Have you tried using this one with your family?
Oh, definitely. My dad loves telling really long stories.
Right? Dads are quite famous for doing exactly that.
I'll say, that's funny, but let's circle back to our dinner plans.
It works perfectly, and it keeps everyone happy and focused. Now, let's listen to the dialogue one more time, paying close attention to how. An advanced communicator can gracefully interject to distill a rambling tangent.
Now that we know the vocabulary, let's move on to the dialogue.
So we ran a similar campaign a few years ago. We used mostly blue graphics.
Did that specific color scheme work well for the audience?
Yeah, it really did. My cousin actually designed the whole thing. He worked at this tiny agency.
That's an interesting detail. Did they handle all our ads?
No, just a few special projects. They loved using retro fonts back then. It was a cool style.
Sorry to interject here, Mark, but I want to pause you.
Oh, no problem at all. What are you thinking?
I just want to make sure we stay on our strict schedule.
Yeah, we only have about 10 minutes left in the meeting.
Exactly. So to distill what you're saying, past color trends really helped engagement. Is that right?
Yes, that's the main takeaway. We should definitely check those old metrics.
That's a really great idea. Let's assign that task to David.
I can pull those numbers for you by this afternoon.
Perfect. Now, before we go off on another tangent, let's review the new budget.
That sounds good to me. I'll pull up the spreadsheet right now.
That was a great replay. Sarah handled that tangent perfectly.
She really did. It's so easy to just let someone keep talking.
Exactly, but her interruption was polite and very effective.
I loved how she summarized his point right after stopping him.
Yeah, that shows she was actually listening to him.
Right? It makes the speaker feel valued, even when you cut them off.
Have you ever used that tactic in a real meeting?
Oh, definitely. I use it a lot when we are running out of time.
Now it's time for you to practice these advanced phrases yourself.
We pulled out the most useful lines from the conversation.
You can use these at work when you need to redirect a meeting.
Just listen to the audio and then say the words out loud.
Are you ready? Please listen and repeat after Sarah.
Sorry to interject here, Mark, but I want to pause you. I just want to make sure we stay on our strict schedule. So, to distill what you're saying, past color trends really helped engagement, is that right? Now, before we go off on another tangent, let's review the new budget.
You did a really great job practicing those phrases today.
Practice them a few times so they feel totally natural to say.
It takes confidence to step in like that, but you can do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for learning with us today.
If you found these advanced tips helpful, please like and share this episode.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more lessons.
We really appreciate your support as we grow this podcast.
Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye, everyone, and keep practicing those new phrases.